Speaking of an organization that's high profile and maybe just as much so as the Dallas Cowboys, Los Angeles Lakers, they signed on Saturday Luka Doncic to a 3-year, $165 million extension. So Luka's locked in for the long term with the Lakers. So he's under contract if you include this year for the next 4 years. So he's their superstar for the future. This was what was going to be the case after they made the move for him back in February, what was the most shocking trade I think any of us have seen in sports. So on the Luka side of this, and in the time that I was gone, the Lakers got new ownership of the building with the Dodgers. Or I think actually that might have been during the finals. I actually might have talked about that briefly during the show. But new ownership coming into the picture. The Buss family isn't going to have as much as a say as they have. And I've often, it's funny, we just got done talking about the Cowboys. I've often compared the Cowboys to the Lakers with this sort of don't hire or consult with anybody who doesn't have Lakers purple and gold colored glasses on. Same with the Cowboys, metallic blue colored glasses on. Everyone Jerry Jones consults with has ties to the franchise, can't look at them objectively. Same case with the Lakers for years. It's the Rambus family. It's who's the GM? Rob Pelinka, who was Kobe's agent. Like everybody that's involved in any way, shape, or form has ties to the Lakers, whether they're that qualified for the job or not. That's what you see in Dallas as well. So I did give credit to the Lakers in bringing in new ownership, and I think it's going to do wonders for the franchise. I'm a Warriors fan, so I hate the Lakers. So, but that's objectively good news for LA, as is obviously Luka Doncic staying. So Luka is now I can't believe he's 7 years into his career now. Like he's an NBA veteran now. That's crazy how fast time flies. And I mean, you think this is a guy who a couple of years ago finished top 3 for MVP, led the Dallas Mavericks to an NBA Finals, was able to, get a game. Numbers weren't that bad in the series, but the defense was. The efficiency wasn't quite there. Him and Kyrie went on a great run and obviously fell short to a better Boston Celtics team. He gets hurt. He's out of shape. That was a story for most of his career in Dallas. Luka's not in shape. Luka's not putting time in the weight room. Well, he's on the cover of Men's Health magazine, and it's like, holy crap, Luka looks amazing. He's ripped now. He was asked on the Today Show, are you on Ozempic? No, I'm just working out. And I think some credit does go to LeBron, and this is what I theorized along with many others when Luka was traded to the Lakers, where it's just being in proximity to a guy or with a guy who is the model for taking care of your body and being able to sustain excellent play for a long period of time in LeBron James had to have rubbed off on Luka. It didn't rub off on AD, but AD was never, again, AD is a great player. AD is a future first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. But we know AD does not have the killer instinct that a guy like Luka has. He's got that dog in him. There's no question. We've seen it in previous years at the Olympics, in the playoffs. He's got that. He'll trash talk anybody. He loves the moment. And so for Luka, I think he's the clear 4th best player in basketball. In this order, I go Jokic, Giannis, SGA, Luka Doncic. I mean, what Jokic does on a season-to-season basis is just, it defies logic. Players don't do that. He's unbelievable. Giannis, again, he just finished. I know the Bucks haven't had playoff success. They haven't won a playoff series in 3 years. You can't put that on Giannis. The guy is, I think, the first time that a guy has averaged 30 a game on 60% shooting back-to-back seasons ever. I could be wrong on that, but that's what Giannis has pulled off the last couple of seasons. He's been unreal the last couple of years. And we'll see what happens with his future in Milwaukee. SGA is the defending MVP, defending champion, had a great playoff run, and deserves, worst case scenario, that number 3 spot. And then I think it's Luka, whose stock definitely took a hit last year because he was out of shape, because of the trade, because of how Dallas and Nico Harrison seemed to go out of their way to shame him, to destroy his image because of, not taking care of his body. He drinks too much, smokes too much, doesn't care enough about basketball. And my takeaway was, well, okay, if that's him not caring about basketball, my gosh, wait till he does. So if he's as in shape as the Men's Health magazine seems to indicate, holy crap, we could be in for an MVP season from Luka, which, by the way, he's never won before. He's never won a league MVP before. He's come close. You can make a case he should have gotten it in 2024. I would have given it to Jokic, but you could have made a case for Luka. But we've seen in years past, he's been in the race. The numbers have been off the charts, hasn't quite broken through. So much of winning MVP is storylines. And if the narrative coming in is he's in shape, he's the new face of the Lakers now, there's still, I think, I got to admit to you, I still can't quite believe he's a Laker. And it's been 5 months or 6 months since the deal went down. It's been a half year, and I still can't believe Luka is not a Maverick anymore. He's in LA. There's still the shock, the wear off with that. He had a rough playoffs against Minnesota. They attacked him every chance they got on the defensive end. He seemed to wear down worse than his 40-year-old teammate in year 22, LeBron James, did. And so there is pressure, I think, on Luka not to lead the Lakers to a title because they can do it. The Marcus Smart move was fine. Marcus is getting up there in age. He's an old, I think Marcus is like 31, 32, 33 years old. He's older. His body would tell you he's older than his age is, if that makes sense, just because of how he plays the game, physical, whatever the case may be. DeAndre Ayton is a good move. It's better than what they had at center, but we know he's emotionally unreliable. Ask Monty Williams in Phoenix. And in the case of Portland, they couldn't wait to get rid of him. And so some of the moves the Lakers have made have been fine. I've got no real qualms with it. I don't think they're as good as Oklahoma City. I don't think they're as good as Denver. I thought Denver had an amazing offseason with some of the guys they brought into the building. And so I would have them at kind of like the top of that tier 2 of contenders in the Western Conference with Golden State, with Minnesota, with teams like that. So for Luka, I think that the goal, the objective has to be, I got to win a league MVP. I'm too great. I'm one of the 4 best players in basketball. Jokic has 3. SGA's got 1. Giannis has 2. I'm in that class of those guys. My numbers say I'm with those guys. I got to have some hardware to back it up. And I've been to a finals, been to another Western Conference finals 2 years before that. I need to start having some hardware to show for my greatness. And I think he's going to do that. He's driven as ever. He's motivated to prove the Dallas Mavericks wrong. And I think that'll be a motivation of his. The bigger story to me, and listen, I'm not Rich Paul. That goes without saying. Rich Paul is one of the power agents in professional sports. But if I were a part of Clutch Sports and I were consulting LeBron James, because it seems by the day more and more likely like he's going to be a Laker this year. Because there have been rumblings. There was an Instagram post with him, Maverick Carter, and Jokic's agent on a boat in an Instagram post. And people like, man, is LeBron going to go to Denver with Jokic and Jamal Murray and these guys? And that was more so a promotional thing for Maverick Carter, and Jokic's agent are creating like some sort of basketball league. I don't really know the details surrounding that, but that's what that was more centered around. Here's what I would tell LeBron James if I had the opportunity. Because if we know one thing about him, for good or for bad, he does care about his image. Which, by the way, don't we all? Doesn't anybody with any level of self-respect care? LeBron and his camp have been scarred by how the decision played out in 2010. There's no question about that. You read any article, book, story, whatever the case may be, on the decision and how that affected LeBron in a negative fashion. He's like, man, I thought we were just doing like an interview with Jim Gray. I thought we were giving money to kids at the Boys and Girls Club. People hate me for this. They're burning my jersey. My home city hates me. That has scarred them and affected a lot of their PR decisions moving forward post-2010. He cares about his image. If he were to, let's just throw out a possibility and say next year he takes the vet minimum to go to Denver, to go to the Knicks, to go to, say there's a contender that rides. Let's say Indiana gets Tyrese Halliburton back and they have LeBron James. Well, that's interesting. Tyrese Halliburton, LeBron James, and Siakam, and that's an interesting team. That team's probably the favorite to win the Eastern Conference. If you were to take the vet minimum, and I say I'm going to Houston. Houston doesn't get Giannis, they get LeBron in his farewell tour. Just throwing out contenders where you could see LeBron James fitting. He would get crushed for it. He'd get crushed for it. Man, fake ring. You're chasing Michael. Michael's got the 6 titles. You got 4. You got 6 finals losses, which again, I'm amazed how you can lose in the NBA finals and actually hurts your legacy. We don't do that with Jerry West, who's 1-9 in the finals. We do it to LeBron James, who's 4-6. I don't know. I'm just asking for consistency. I know that's too much to ask sometimes in today's world, but whatever the case may be, I would tell LeBron, okay, unless you want to go back to Cleveland and have a swan song there, which no one would kill him for, you going to find a better teammate than Luka Doncic? You're comfortable in Los Angeles. We know you're going to retire there when you're done, whether that's this year or next year. And oh, by the way, your son plays for the Lakers. And that was one of your stated goals is, man, I want to play with Bronny. Well, Bronny had a pretty good summer league. He's developing, and Bronny's probably going to be in the Lakers next year. Wouldn't it be really cool for LeBron's legacy And my buddy Barry Grant Jr. talked about this in the All Even podcast. Shout out to Barry. He was the first I heard bring this up, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. What if LeBron is like the Kareem to Luka's Magic? See, folks that don't know, Magic was drafted in 1979 by the Lakers out of Michigan State. Kareem was a was a 5-time MVP before that. Kareem was the best player in basketball. Now, LeBron wasn't the best player in basketball when Luka was traded there, but just follow me. Kareem was the best player in the Lakers. You could argue the first 6 years of Magic's career. Year 6 for Kareem and Magic. Kareem was the finals MVP against the Celtics in 85. From that point forward, Magic was the best player because Kareem's getting older. What if it's a situation where everyone knows Luka's the man, everyone knows it's Luka's franchise, but they turn to number 23 for that leadership? They call Kareem the captain. We turn the cap. Right? Game 6, 1988 final. Yep, 88 finals. Game 6, down 1. Who'd they go to? Not Magic. An old Kareem. Year 19 Kareem. We trust you. Again, it was a bad call. Bill Laimbeer, all of it. But went to the line, sunk both free throws. We relied on him at the end. Wouldn't that be a cool, last wrinkle if the Lakers were to win the title this year? So he was the man in Miami with a duo that on paper actually didn't fit that well. Him and Dwayne Wade. He goes back to Cleveland, wins one of the greatest championships in NBA history, scarred me for life as a Warriors fan, but came back from 3-1 on a 73-win team to win a championship for Cleveland, of all cities. Goes to LA, a franchise that was in the gutter for the previous half decade before that. Wins a very difficult title, regardless of when anyone tries to accuse the bubble of being, that was a discussion last week. Oh, there's not a legit championship. There's an asterisk. Read Bubble Ball. It's a great book by Ben Golliver. Read Bubble Ball and then tell me that's a fake championship. The conditions there were brutal, as it was for most of the country during COVID. It was a tough year for everybody. Wins title there. And then year 23, oldest player in the league, 41. He's all NBA potentially. All-star level guy. And is the number 2 with Luka Doncic on the championship winning team for the Los Angeles Lakers. That, to me, would be more impactful for LeBron's legacy than if he went to a ready-made contender already. Again, I think LeBron's the GOAT. We can have that discussion when he's done, but I do. Boy, that would be a wrinkle in... It's kind of like when Brady won the championship in Tampa, won the title without Belichick, and it was like Brady was already the GOAT, but that just added a whole different level. More championships than any franchise and all of that. That would kind of be what that'd be for LeBron James. Holy crap. Is he still a top 10, top 12 player in the league and the number 2 player on a champion? The mentor for Luka to get into shape, to finally get over the hump and win an MVP and win a championship? Be a nice feather in the cap for the king. I'm just throwing that out there. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.